Hello everyone, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. I'm loading this game up at the menu here, just so you guys can see the new look of Kerbin. I saw some videos of some pretty cool looking modded games of KSP, and I decided I wanted to try it out. I met with mixed results. Some things are pretty cool. Mostly planets look a lot better. It seems like Kerbin has way too many clouds. I don't know if I somehow installed 2 different cloud mods or something. Like, I don't know. I didn't really know what I was doing. But like the Kerbals themselves and the rockets, I couldn't find a very good mod that improved those at all. I don't really know what I'm doing playing around with KSP mods, so I just followed some like really old instructions, and some of them worked and some of them didn't, and then I like couldn't figure out how to fix it. So parts of the game still look just like they used to, but the views of oh my gosh, the skybox is flickering. Oh, is that a lightning storm? That might not actually be a bug. I read there were lightning storms. I think that's fine. Maybe. Is it over here too? Oh, is that like that red? I don't know what that red thing is, but okay, yeah. So I think this is actually on purpose. What if I can I zoom out far enough to like see that? No. What if I go up? All right, I'm gonna assume for the moment that that's fine. Seems like way too much lightning, but what do I know? Huh. So what were we up to? Oh, we wanted to spend some science, right? Maybe what I'll do actually is warp to the next morning and then see if that fixes the dang sky problem. What is going on there? Whoa, oh man, the sunrise was awesome. I wish I had gone through it more slowly. That looked so cool. Look at that, the sun's reflecting off the water. Did it always do that? Maybe it did. Still, the clouds are gorgeous. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to go for now on the assumption that things are fine. And let's go look at the science we can get with our 218 science. Miniaturization, so this is cool. It would be nice to be able to build like a skinnier lander, but so far I feel like that's not our main problem. Our lander stage, we're using up all the fuel in our lander stage before we get to landing, and so like I would like to fix that, and then we can make, I don't know. So there's also like this advanced electric stuff. We could put better solar panels on or something, but that doesn't excite me too much. Command modules, yeah, I mean, like, this is fine. We could get a command module with capacity for 3 crew. That's certainly an interesting idea, because then we wouldn't have to bring along a crew cabin. That would simplify things a bit. Interesting. I hadn't really planned on that, but that's something that we could do. These things don't really interest me that much. Our landing setup is really fine. Aerodynamics. Our problem is while we're in space, not. So this is the other thing it would be nice to have. If we had like a stack tricoupler and like some Rockomax adapters. That are a bit smaller, we could start launching like somewhat larger booster stage rockets. And like, what does that head us towards? I don't know what specialized construction is all about. What is this? Actuators, a grabbing unit? Huh. I don't know what that's all about. Being able to use fuel ducts would be kind of cool, so that we could have external fuel tanks feeding into a central fuel thing, or a central engine. But we've sort of done that already before, and it was fine, I guess. Fuel tanks for Rockomax adapters, and up here some. Are these the small? I think these are the small. Some extra small parts, and here there's heavier rocketry, which these are, I believe. Oh my gosh, that's heavy. Look at that thrust, 1,500 kilonewtons. Wow! That is so much compared to what we're using. But I think actually we should be starting out like down in this area somewhere. Oh, these are cool. I haven't... A relay antenna. And I don't know. This is for like... What is this even for? I don't know. But like, I think that I just want to have a better... I'm really tempted by this command pod, actually. Like, being able to bring 3 people without needing a whole crew cabin for it is a big deal. We could really shrink our whole rocket by taking the crew cabin off of it. Make it easier to land, easier both on Kerbin and elsewhere. I think I'll take it, actually. It's sort of like a dubious choice, but you know what? I don't have to play perfectly. That's what I wanted, so there. So I was thinking we would unlock a couple of things, but instead I just spent a lot on like one thing. But I think it's a pretty cool thing to have. So let's open this Minmus Lander 1. So something we could do is put a bit more fuel in this stage, but we could double up on these guys, and that would be one way to have more fuel. But I think that, like... What is the problem that we're having? I think that the problem that we're having is... We're using up a bunch of fuel in this stage, which is perfectly capable of landing. It has enough fuel to land and return, but we're using it all on our orbital operations near Kerbin, spending a ton of Delta V just to get to the vicinity of Minmus. And that's because we run out of the central stage way sooner than I would like. Often, I think, before we're even totally in orbit? I don't remember. Maybe we can save it longer than that. So I think there's a few things to do to address that. The first is, we can just put more fuel in these guys. Of course, this will send us, like, straighter up, but I think we can fix that by tipping over sooner during the launch. I think we're still getting a bit too vertical. And in order to do that, we're also spending more fuel in this stage just to provide us some gimbaling during takeoff. We don't actually need any Delta V from this. We just need to be able to point the ship a little bit better. And so... Command and control. Let's just, instead of firing up this engine, let's just put a, Stop. Go back. Let's just add another reaction wheel to the ship. Then we can use that for gimbaling. Well, not gimbaling, but for torquing. So with 2 of those on, I think that we may be able to avoid throttling up this engine at all during liftoff. And with more fuel in these guys, we may be able to use them to help us get into a proper round orbit. Another thing I'd like to do, well, let's rip off... We're going to have to adjust this whole... Whoa! What I actually want to do is pull that. Adjust this whole stage. I'm keeping this here because actually... There's nothing on this crew cabin. Fine. I was thinking that I want to, like, move whatever stuff is on the command pod onto our... and crew cabin onto the new command pod, so that I don't just forget to bring a thing. But it turns out that there's actually... Here we go. Whoa, it's bigger! Oh, I didn't realize. That's probably fine. Except I didn't buy the Rockomax adapter that's better. Now I think we could... Like... Can we do that? Is that legitimate? No, that's illegal. It doesn't want a thing this size. So, like, we could put a Rockomax adapter here, or no? No. Oh, I see. That's because we still have this. This one won't become part of the craft because it's not, Alright. So let's put those on. Oh, jeez. it won't even become part of the... It doesn't want to become part of the rocket until it can be the only part of the rocket, apparently. Is this everything? Looks like it. Get out of here. And this thing still doesn't know I want it to be part of the rocket, so there we go. Now let's get rid of that. Pull this up. And we can attach this on the bottom just fine. Doesn't really fit. We could stick on a Rockomax adapter, but like, how heavy is this? 4 tons. This is only like 1 ton? Yikes. I should have paid a little more attention, I guess. This is actually heavier than the combination of the two things I was bringing before. It would improve our stability a little bit, but not that much. I don't think it's really worth doing. Let's just bring the old one we were bringing, shall we? It's kind of a waste of science for now, but whatever. There's plenty of science in the sea. Oh, I forgot to pick up the... I don't remember. Were these RCS thrusters on the top when I showed you guys? I think I realized I had forgotten to include them on the bottom at some stage. I don't remember if I added them back on camera or off. This is a battery. We just need like one of those. And I still would like to bring our science equipment because we will be trying to land on Minmus. Speaking of which, where's the mystery goo? Science, yeah, let's just slap a thermometer and a mystery goo thing right on here. Yeah, there's sort of some space like that. It's starting to look a little bit silly. Actually, it would get burned up by the RCS in real life if I did that. So let's just put it here. I don't think that's a thing to actually worry about, but it seems a little more realistic if I don't put the RCS in the way. RCS probably isn't that hot, actually. It's just expelling a little propellant. Okay, and we need to bring back the crew cabin. And put a heat shield at the bottom of the crew cabin. I think it's probably not actually necessary. I think the crew cabin can stand up on return, but it's fine, you know, why not, right? And I just want to adjust this so that the reaction wheel gets decoupled, so that we're actually presenting the what words? I can't, so that we're presenting the heat shield on re-entry. The other thing, actually, now that it occurs to me, is we kind of want all of this stuff to not be on the ship when we come back. We'll already have pulled the science off of it, right? So why don't we just attach it on this stage that we're going to jettison? Like, put the mystery goo down here. It's a little bit anti-symmetrical, but we already were anyway, right? The batteries I don't mind keeping, but and the RCS we kind of do need up here to counter the RCS that's down here. But like the thermometer and the barometer and stuff, we can just slap them on the side here. Oh, stop putting so many of them on, please. I can't get it to put fewer. There we go. And is there still a thermometer on here? Or did I not? Yeah, there it is. It's so small, it's easy to miss. Alright, well, not much symmetry. Might as well put all the science in the same place, huh? So, something I should have thought of before I did this was, should I upgrade these fuel tanks? Or are we doing fine? Are we just going to count on our lower stage improvements to give us enough upper stage flexibility? I think I will try that. And the other thing I'd like to do is attach just a couple solar panels on this. So that when I was testing out the mod to make sure everything was okay, I ended up doing a test flight to the vicinity of Minmus on a different save file. And just one battery I actually ran out of trying to do all of my orientational stuff. So I'd like a way to sustain just in case. And I'll put it on this lower stage here also. We shouldn't need it once we're done with the lander, so we'll just put... Oh, I accidentally put 4 of them on. I guess that's fine. I meant to do 2, but this should be okay. They're kind of in the shadow here, aren't they? The sun might have trouble getting to them. Let's just do this. There we go. Now they're in every direction. There's lights here. But I can't ever get the lights to trigger based on the keyboard. I don't know why. I guess we should call this the Minmus Lander 2. The first one never did land. And is the staging okay here? It is. I'm turning on this engine in the first stage, even though I'm planning not to use it, which seems a little bit silly. But I'd like to have the option to throttle it up before jettisoning these, in case I decide that I'm not able to turn enough with the reaction wheels. And adding another reaction wheel is another reason that we want the solar panels. That eats up some electricity. Hopefully not too much, but some. Okay, I think this is a fine ship to try taking to Minmus, even if we didn't get any scientific improvements at all. Whoa, I forgot a thing. No, there's a parachute on the top, right? Yeah. And the staging for all these parts is still fine. Okay. I forgot to put crew in this ship, so we're gonna go back to the... Actually, maybe it remembered. We'll see. It didn't. Alright, recover this vessel. Yep, next. Crew. So Neobald's gonna fly it, not Bill. What on earth? Why would Bill fly this ship? And we'll bring Bob along. We could bring Bill with, except that I haven't convinced myself that we can actually do crew transfers through the crew cabin when there are 3 people. It seemed important to have an empty slot. Of course, there is always one vast empty slot, i.e. the vast emptiness of space. You could have the pilot jump out and then have someone transfer in and have the pilot jump back in. Is that worthwhile to get Bill experience? I guess it's fine, right? They don't even have to let go of the ladder. They can just go wait outside, hanging onto the ladder while the transferring is going on. Let's try it. We'll bring Bill. Get him some more experience. Okay. A bit of a dubious decision, perhaps. But it's all in the name of science and engineering. Are these... These are like inside the ground. Is that actually okay? I guess it's okay. Let's just pick this up a bit. No. No. So lights, yeah, they are part of the lights options, but... Build. What? Pick up, there we go. Save, launch. Alright. Look at them, they're all shaking their heads in unison. And SAS, we do indeed have normal and radial holders here, which is nice. Oh look, there's clouds going by. Over the sun. Change the shadows. Neat. Okay, well, let's throttle down to 0. And see if we can actually get into orbit, near orbit, using just these guys and our reaction wheels. It'll be a grand experiment. Liftoff in 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. Take her home, Neobald. Well, not home. Away. Take it away, Neobald. That's a better way to say it. So let's tip it. Doesn't have to be much. Yeah, we can totally fight these engines with just the reaction wheels, I think. It's a bit squirrely. Hold still. I am so bad at this rolling business. Remembering which button is to roll which way. Okay, that's plenty. Stop right there. Don't go any further. Yeah. Roll to face properly, please, and go over some more. I really should be looking... I hope you guys are enjoying these clouds. I should be looking at my trajectory, but gosh, the planet looks pretty. But I really needed to keep things centered properly. We're almost out of solid fuel. Let's tip pretty much all the way over here. We'll be fine. And there we go. Got us a pretty high apoapsis. Not into space yet, but we didn't have to use any of our middle stage for it, which is great as far as I'm concerned. And now we have a little bit of time to savor the majesty of space. Kind of like a dusk look here, maybe? I'm not sure. Seems very thickly clouded, but what do I know? Maybe that's how planets look in real life. Okay. Well, actually, let's not tip over quite that. Yeah, actually, let's. This is not helping our apoapsis much, but it's doing quite a bit for our periapsis, I think. So let's just keep it tilted quite far over. That's my plan. And it's still getting us into space, into orbit even. Let's tip over more. And cut the engines. Okay, cool. So we're gonna do a couple laps around the planet just to enjoy the new look of Kerbin, but I do want to get into space before we. I do need to make sure we get into a proper orbit first. So say I wanted to burn right here, and I want to get us into a prograde orbit. How hard do I have to push? Not into a circular orbit. How much prograde? That's still a lot, isn't it? I guess. A minute 5? Okay. I think we have that much fuel left, though, which means we shouldn't need to, use up our orbital stage fuel on this maneuver, which is nice. Alright, we're now properly in space. Oh, look at that dividing line. It's so much prettier than it used to be. It's hard to recognize land masses under all this cloud, though. Which is too bad. But it does look like we're going to be able to get into a reasonable orbit with just fuel from this middle stage, which is nice. Oh no, prograde is where we wanted them, yeah. We're not going to be able... We're going to have to burn some... Oh yeah, we did end up using this up. Oh, yeah, stage that. So we didn't quite do it. Did we? Kill this maneuver off. Let's see what our orbit actually looks like. There's our periapsis. Okay, cool. So we're in a pretty low round orbit. This gives us a lot of room to work with. And what is our inclination with respect to min-miss? 6.3. Ooh, that's a bit far, I think. So let's say I wanted to add a maneuver here and burn a Can't see with all the dang clouds. No, put that back. Burn, normal? Oh, this isn't bad at all. Right? Oh, it's, well... Ugh. I might actually turn this off. It makes it really hard to see these handles when I'm looking at the planet. It looks pretty, but it's not very useful. So turn off this encounter. Right here at our descending node, add a maneuver. Ball's pulling normal. Keep an eye not on our periapsis or apoapsis, but our descending node. Oh, okay, fine, our ascending node. There. 232 meters per second. That's a bit much. What if we were to instead just sort of wait for Minmus to line up with our ascending and descending node? I feel like that would take quite a while. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and actually spend the fuel orienting ourselves. We have a lot of fuel. I think it'll be okay. And our electric charge is topped off, which is nice. So, how do you guys like the new planet? I also installed a thing that like made the sky prettier, added more cool stars and stuff, but I tried to do that anyway. I think that might be one of the ones that I couldn't get a modern version of or something. It was really hard to tell. I don't know what I'm doing with KSP mods at all. Alright, so this is 30-second burn that we're quick approaching, so point yourself normal, please. I love that he'll do that now. And we'll just fire this off in a few seconds. Like, let's say now is good. Keep an eye on... I can't get it to show me my actual ascending and descending node while I have a maneuver that's adjusting them, which I don't appreciate very much. With apoapsis and periapsis, you can see the real ones and the ones that you'll have after. But now, I don't seem to see it at all. So I'm going to delete this maneuver just so I can track a real ascending and descending node. And then when... I cut the engine there even though it's at 1% still, because our ascending node seems to have moved forward a bit. We can just warp to here. It's more efficient to burn as close to the node as possible, right? So why waste fuel adjusting here when we can do it more cheaply here? Alright, 0.6 degrees, that should be okay. Right? So let's just figure out how we're getting to the moon. To, not the moon, but Minmus. Where is Minmus right now? It's over there. So we probably want to fire around, I don't know, here? Jeez, I can't see a thing. Just zoom out further, I guess. That'll fix it. Okay, so that's our closest approach. So actually, I was pretty accurate. Not quite right, but that looked like it was actually an encounter, right? Briefly? No, but that is. So our Minmus periapsis is 1.8 million meters. And we're at a pretty low orbit around it. Can I just burn a tiny bit more prograde? So that I can maybe catch Minmus on the backswing? Yeah, something... Ah! No, less... Yeah, okay, something kind of like in that neighborhood. So we have a... Ugh. That's Minmus slingshotting us. Okay. And now here, we have a pretty low angle around Minmus. And if we just adjust a little bit like Wait, what just happened there? Did I pull on the wrong node or something? Or was it doing what I wanted? Oh, this is doing a totally wrong thing. Okay, well I had things about right, and there's like no easy undo button for orbits, or for maneuvers. So we were about here, adding a maneuver to about 900 something meters per second. That's what we were adding. Okay. Now if I scroll up, does that give us more? Yes. But like, it's supposed to be the tiny adjustment, and it does do tiny adjustments unless you scroll fast, and it does like gigantic adjustments. Okay, so this actually looks pretty cool. This is fine. We're going to go around Minmus in the back, and when we're out behind Minmus, we should have a pretty small amount of burn to do to get us into a round orbit. I've been doing it at my periapsis, like while we're shooting by it super fast. I don't know if that's the right thing to do or not. But I think this is a reasonable plan. And we can turn off SAS. Not that it really matters. We have the solar panels. I forgot to put any RCS fuel. We have a little monopropellant anyway, of course. But given like how little I really know about how to use RCS, I think I could use that up pretty quickly without having any meaningful impact. So I don't know. Maybe I should have brought some RCS fuel. But I think that this is going to be the end of this episode. Oh no, I did promise you a few warps around the world, didn't I? Here we go. Let's see if we can watch. Well, I was going to say watch a sunset from space. Yeah, it's like there's a thunderstorm right there, but it's like super overdone, isn't it? I don't know. Let's see about going faster now. Maybe just like 10x. And which? Okay, here comes like a sunrise, right? Map view. Where are we with respect to the sun? I don't know. Maybe there's not a sunrise coming just yet. No, that's just some random star. That's the moon, I think? Probably? Oh my gosh, this planet is like enormous. It's a planet-sized thing. But this looks like sunrise, right? Yeah. Got pretty cool like scatter through the atmosphere, and we get to watch it all from above. Yeah, those are clearly intentional thunderstorms, but I think they look awful. I would turn it off if I could figure out what my mod setup is, which I don't really know. How does it look to the crew? Of course, it just looks like a dang box. But there comes the sun. And more interestingly, how the planet looks as the sun flows over it. I guess it looks about the same as a sunset, huh? You just look down like there's a bright part and a dark part. Alright, not as exciting as I had hoped. Lens flare is dubious. Okay, cool. Well, now we're done with this episode. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you on Minmus.